Hi, I'm Steve Adubato coming to you from Newark, New Jersey, the North Ward Center, which is a community-based organization here in the heart of Newark. We just finished a very spirited and important discussion on the future of urban education, and one of the most distinguished panelists we had is with us now. She is Dr. Marcia Lyles, Superintendent of the Jersey City Public Schools. Doctor, thank you for joining us.
No, thank you for having me.
Biggest lesson you took away from, message you took away from that really hour-and-a-half discussion on urban America and urban education?
It was clear we have shared issues, shared aspirations, and a shared commitment.
So, you know, in Jersey City, it's interesting, only a few miles away from Newark. You come from New York originally,
Right.
so you know urban education in a big sense. What are some of the most significant challenges facing urban schools in this nation?
Well, you know, as I said during the panel discussion, for me, one of the biggest challenges is to ensure equity. Jersey City Public Schools, for instance, is a very diverse district, but not all our schools are diverse. And subsequently, some of our children are not achieving at the same levels, do not have the same opportunities. And so the challenge is to use the talent and the commitment, but to drive that into real outcomes for our children. So that's probably the biggest challenge we have.
You know, when I was asking, excuse me, in the forum, to what degree other folks seem to care outside of cities, in suburban and rural areas, let's just say wealthier communities, which is not every suburban or clearly every rural area. But wealthier folks outside the city, to what degree do you believe most care about the children in our urban schools?
Well, I think most people have a moral sense and that they really want the best for everybody. But sometimes it gets to the point of that, well, why do I, though, have to pay for that? I think that there isn't someone who says, I don't want those children to succeed. I don't want those children to have opportunities. But we are all engaged sometimes in a, but what about mine? And so, you know, we—
Do you understand that?
Yeah, well, you know, I understand it to a degree, but I think that part of it, and the conversation has always been about, but we need to invest in all children because ultimately we are all connected. If my children don't do well, it's going to spread elsewhere.
Explain that to folks. Someone says, well, listen, it would be great if kids in Newark or Brooklyn or the Bronx or Newark or Jersey City, wherever it is, Patterson, Camden, where we're seeing down there, Philadelphia. It would be nice, but that's not, it doesn't affect me, you say.
I say absolutely it affects you. First of all, there's not a wall around Jersey City. There's not a wall around these schools or these communities. These children will be the responsibility of everybody.
How so?
How so? First of all, just economically, if they are in areas in which we need to provide more resources to combat crime, to combat violence, to address the health issues of these communities, it's going to fall on those people who have more taxes that they're paying, and subsequently, and as it was said, so invest now.
In the forum, go ahead.
In the forum, invest now. Invest in the children and invest in the future. And I think that that's what we've always been about, talking about the future. So if you ensure every child's future, then you ensure your child's future. You know, that old expression about we're only as strong as our weakest link?
That's right.
Well, then, like, make every link strong.
Why do you, for you personally, I'm curious about this. Why did you go into not just education overall, but urban education?
Well, I went into urban education because I'm a product of urban education.
Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Harlem, and I'm one of those children where people said that would write them off. For example, absolutely. I'm one of those, I tell people I defy the demographics. You know, people said my mother was sick when I was in the 4th grade and dying, and I was absent from school for 40 days. And nobody came and knocked on the door. Nobody said, you know, where's Marcia? And then some things happened, and I was given the opportunity to expand my horizons. I had teachers who saw something in me. In fact, I always have to give a shout out to my 6th grade teacher that now we're still in contact with one another. I found her after like 35 years.
Do you remember her?
Yes, because
remember her name?
Her name is Mrs. Carrie Simpson. She saw something in me. And that's the power of a teacher who can see something in you. But it also said to me, and one of the reasons I went into urban education is, it wasn't that my mother didn't care. My mother was sick. My mother was the first person who put a book in my hand, but she didn't graduate from the 8th grade. But she knew the power of education. She was an intelligent person, but she wasn't educated. But I know that people had all kinds of ideas about what kind of parents I had and, who cared about me. They cared about me, but they didn't have the same opportunity to express that.
You take that with you every day.
Every single day. Every single day.
Do you let other people, I'm sorry for interrupting. To what degree do you let other people, we've been talking to so many people in this series on the future of urban education, and it's really about policy and finances and best practices, but this may be one of the first times we got this personal. How much of your personal story do you share with others?
I share it a lot with my parents. I share it with
the parents of the children in Jersey City.
The parents of the children in Jersey City, wherever I've been. I always tell what is one of the major drivers for me, and I put that in perspective. I share it with the educators that I come in contact with around how this is such a personal mission and how I know that it can be done because of what I've done. The other thing that drives me is I have 2 sons who, well, actually have 5 grandchildren now and a great-grand on the way and all of that.
Don't. You do?
Yes, but...
Congratulations.
Thank you. But the idea is that I raised sons, and I know that I saw the difference of what I was able to do for them. And I know that they were right next door to children who were living in public housing where their parents wanted as much for them as I wanted for mine, but didn't know how to go up to the schoolhouse to demand it, didn't know the right questions to ask, didn't know how to be able to take them to the library, all of those things that happen. And so for me, looking at myself as a child, but myself as a parent, those are the things that make the difference for me.
So finally, before I let you go, Doctor, so many folks who, not so many, but some who do say, hey, why can't they? Why can't they get it done? What's up with urban parents? You just described just a sliver of some of the challenges, some of the problems, some of the issues that other folks can't even comprehend.
Right.
So it's not so easy as work hard.
Well, until we change that question to why can't we get it done, or rather, when will we get it done?
We.
It has to be
not
we.
They, we.
Not they. It's when will we get it done, and how will we get it done? That's the question, not why can't they, because it's not a they issue. It's they didn't create this system. They are products of the system. They are sometimes captives of the system, but it's the we who will break that system and transform those lives.
Finally, we are responsible.
We're
responsible.
We're responsible, but we also are the solution together, every single segment.
Doctor, I want to thank you. Even though Jersey City is a few miles away from Newark where we're taping, your expertise, your insight, and most importantly, the degree to which you care will resonate not just across this state, but across this region and the nation. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.
State of Affairs with Steve Adubato is a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. State of Affairs with Steve Adubato is brought to you from the Agnes Veris NJTV studio at 2 Gateway. Funding has been provided by New Jersey Resources, the North Ward Center, TD Bank, Hackensack Meridian Health, Verizon, the Turl Fund, supporting Right from the Start NJ, and by NJM Insurance Group. Promotional support provided by NJ Advance Media and by the New Jersey Business and Industry Association.